Today's episode of the Riderflex podcast is sponsored by our friends at Colorado Startups. Their mission is to connect startups with needed capital and talent to build industry-changing companies in Colorado. They are the largest online community of founders in the state and a great resource for local entrepreneurs building a big company.
Yeah.
Justin and Barak on the Riderflex podcast going to tell us about MODL Outdoors today. How you guys doing?
We are doing great.
We're doing great.
We're excited.
You down in Denver at Justin's house, you said?
That is correct.
Correct. Near
The
Wash
HQ of the day.
Yep.
Wash Park, cool area. I like it. And fall is here. It was a little cool this morning. It's about like you're dressed, right? Maybe a little long sleeve, but not too much.
Just a light sweater, you know?
It feels good. The fall here is beautiful. So
the air has been nice. I don't know if you've had some bad smoke recently, but
It's been a killer. It's been a killer, bro. Seriously. I mean, up north, because I live closer to Fort Collins. Damn, it's been rough. That smoke has been rough. Maybe that's why my eyes are all fucked up. I don't know.
I mean, it really could be. But were you there? Like, I think I saw in Loveland, it was like the sky was like black at one point.
Yes, dude. Yes, it was killer.
Wow.
It was a killer. It's been that way for like, I don't know, 2 months, but there's a few days there where it was really rough. And on top of all that, are you guys campers or mountain guys? You go to the mountains, do a lot of outdoor?
We like the mountains.
for sure, it's getting to the end of the season for us. But we love getting out there.
For sure.
Man, it's been all messed up. Like I go kind of northwest of Loveland and Fort Collins because I live north, so I kind of go that direction towards Red Feather and up towards Wyoming, and that's where all the fires have been. So it's been a bummer, but that's okay. Colorado's still super awesome, right?
Really is.
We're happy we came out.
Think of all this. We're just all being stress tested right now to make us all strong.
Exactly. Plus, the true stress test was when I was at home with my wife, and I think it was like 47 days straight, 24 hours a day for like 47 days. And I was like, damn, we've been married. Yeah. We've been married 20 years, right? So I told her, I'm like, man, over the 20 years we've been married, have we ever been together like 47 straight days, 24 hours a day? that was a test. No, I love her. She's awesome. In fact, she just came over and handed me some. I was sitting here complaining about my eyes, and she came over, brought me some eye drops, and she's she's always taking care of me.
Even
like
after
that.
40 days.
Even after that.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourselves a little bit personally. Justin, I guess we'll start with you because you're on my left. The way I'm looking at you guys, just a little bit about family, kind of where you grew up. Before we get into the professional stuff, give us a little overview.
So I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. And have a family of 5 with a little dog. Always.
Wow.
What were you say?
4 siblings, huh?
Oh no, 5 total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 2 siblings. I always thought I was going to be a doctor. I had this drive to. I felt like I think I grew up in a very altruistic way with my family, and I thought that was like the most direct and powerful way to help people. And it wasn't until this whole adventure started that I saw there was a lot of other ways to do that, and it kind of opened up my mind and my world. And so,
what'd your folks do for a living?
My dad worked in radio and television. He had a radio station, and now he does consulting in radio and television.
Cool.
And my mom works with them there. They have a business together. So they're entrepreneurs together. Same with my sister. I didn't even really realize that we kind of all had that vibe until it just kind of happened.
Well, but the entrepreneurial bug was inside you then from birth almost, really, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so. And my grandparents as well. But I don't think
you need it to be pulled out of you.
Yeah, I think I did. It didn't come out. It wasn't conscious. It was very unconscious while it was happening.
He's a somewhat risk-averse individual.
I am.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
We can get into that later.
Yeah.
Okay. And you went to the University of Georgia, right?
Correct. Both of us did. All 3 of me and Barak and our other partner, all were best friends at Georgia.
Oh, wow. So all right. So you guys can tell you have
Yeah.
true secrets in there,
Yeah,
true
we
like
feel weird.
party secrets. Like you got, okay.
Exactly.
You know things about each other that nobody else can know as your
All
company grows.
besides.
Yeah.
40 straight days, 40 straight nights.
Who was the wildest? If you had to rank the wild streak out of the three,
It's a competition between you and Zach, I would say.
It's definitely me or Zach.
Yeah.
Zach's more likely to get hurt. I'm more
Most
likely to do
suspenseful.
wild things, probably.
Yeah.
is that right? Justin, you were the conservative one of the group.
Yeah, I was just seeing all the different ways things could go wrong and making sure that we avoided them.
Did you guys talk about starting a business in college together, or that kind of happened after?
So that it really all came together at the end of college for us. We were working on a couple projects together,
Okay.
and Justin and Zach, they had a project they were working on. Justin and I made music. Zach and I were roommates, so we all had something going on, and we all just really respected each other's minds. Yeah. And we thought, what if we could make a living out of starting a business together? And that kind of.
So you did, okay, all right. You guys were talking about it early on. Barak, tell us about you a little bit. How about your family?
Yeah, so I grew up in Atlanta, Jewish family, family of 5 total. I'm the oldest, 2 younger sisters, and my dad is an estate planning lawyer,
Okay.
and ever since I was young, I was always just an out of the box thinker, and I don't think I was ever going to be a lawyer. But my dad taught me a lot about just leverage and valuing your time, and so that I've always had a drive to kind of take the ideas that are in my head and make them real, make them physical. So
Gotcha.
that's a little about me.
Okay, now I don't hear a Southern accent on either one of you guys now, especially from Richmond. Richmond has a distinct accent for a lot of people that come from there, and I don't hear that on you at all, Justin.
That's hilarious. I must have just been used to it. I didn't really notice it.
You know, I've never been anywhere in the country where there truly is like this line of accent where you're driving down from DC, and as soon as you get to a certain point, it's like boom, it just like that, it just changes.
You what you think the accent is, like what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little more, it's Southern, but right there's like that line. I'm like, wow, it changes, boom, just like that. You wouldn't even know that DC was that close, really, unless you've traveled the area, you know.
I think it has a lot to do with country versus cities. Atlanta is it's very liberal.
No
you don't
accent.
really hear an accent from Atlantans in general.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are in college. You're having a good time. You're partying, but you also got entrepreneurial bugs. I can just see you sitting around, drinking beer, talking about, man, we're going to start our own business. We're not going to work for anybody else. Screw that. We're going to do our own thing. So you're talking about all these entrepreneurial things early on. So talk. Who wants to go? Barak, why don't you kind of walk us into early stage of either your career, or maybe then kind of walk us into how MODL started coming to be, and then we'll let Justin kind of pick it up.
Yeah. So like I said, I was always interested in entrepreneurship, but I always thought my route to entrepreneurship would be through investment banking. And so going into the end of college, the philosophy was every business needs somebody who understands finance. And so if I understand finance, I can go into any sort of business that I want to. And I got the job. I did that. I was sitting on that for about 6 months, and I started realizing that if I thought I was going to be an entrepreneur in the long run, maybe the best way for me to be an entrepreneur or to practice doing it is just to go and do it. And I just had these really, really smart friends, and we actually went on a camping trip. And
Sweet.
I threw out this idea for a product that I had that we could have used on that trip, a multifunctional water bottle, because we were carrying a whole slew of different products just so that we could use our water in different ways.
Are you sitting around? Are you around a campfire?
Well, we actually were hunkered down in a tent. It was like a massive storm coming in, and we had to be in this tent for 14 hours straight because
we hiked up to the top of a mountain, and we put our tent right on this granite outcropping overlooking this crazy valley. And we hear that a storm is just going to roll through all night long, and that's going to be wild. And
yeah, and so we were just hunkered in there for a long time. We were just like riffing, and just like we were making the most of it. Yeah, and this tent's going crazy, and like we have so much hydration gear just all around us, and we were just like, what if we could put all this together into one, and like one single thing that works for everything.
Wow.
And that was, and we kind of just followed that thread down and decided that if we woke up in the morning and didn't think we were crazy, maybe we should just like take one step towards it.
Okay. So walk us into that, Justin, the early phases of design and manufacturing and samples. And yeah, I mean, how did you fund those early days?
We just were really cheap. Like we're really scrappy. So like we basically, I mean, so we were at the end of college. This was like November of our senior year of college. I was applying to medical school and thinking I was going into med. Like I thought I was doing it, and like he thought he had his investment bank offer. Zach was looking for a job, and we were just kind of like doing this like in our extra time just to see if like there was something here I could then take over the rest of this stuff.
And kind of the philosophy for us is we kind of felt like we needed to prove it to ourselves that this could be a business.
Yeah.
And in like qualitative big picture terms, we thought there is a piece of outdoor gear for every single thing that you could imagine. And water is at the center of every adventure, but there's not one product that even attempts to bring this functionality together.
Yeah.
And so we had that, but then we set off, okay, will people actually buy this? And so our first step was to really mock up the product.
Yeah,
and
right.
Just draw
it up, get some 3D models done of it, render them, put it on a website, and actually try to test it to see if people would try to buy it.
Bingo, right there. There's a good pause for the listeners. That is such a good idea. You know, even if you don't have the product made, slap up a Facebook page or something. And we interviewed somebody from Mortal Kombucha. She makes kombucha. Becca is the founder of Mortal Kombucha. Same thing. She just like put up this Facebook page. Like I have kombucha, which she actually really didn't have any yet. In fact, she didn't even know how to make it. She just made these cool designs. Yeah. And then all of a sudden people were like, yeah, I want to order some. And she's like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. I guess I better figure out how to make that.
Yeah. And so it helped a ton. And so like when people tried to buy it at the end, we would say, oops, you caught us before we're ready. Enter your email here. And then like we go ahead and get their email. We could be talking with them.
Love it.
And then we were able to use that data to then go pitch to an angel. So like it helped make the pitch easier. And so we were able to land an investment like right as we were about to graduate. And it
that was our tipping point.
And so then we were like, let's drop everything we're doing here. Let's just do it. We got an investment. Like let's go and
how much can I ask you? Can you want to share?
So we wanted to minimize the risk for all parties. And so it was $50,000 total.
Okay.
But the way we pitched it was we would get it in different tranches. So we would get the first batch of like 15 or 20 at the very beginning, like right upon investment at a certain valuation. And then if we can show that we can manufacture and create a product, we would get the second batch. And so like if we had all the system, like everything in place, and that would be at a different valuation. And then at a certain revenue figure, we would get the last batch.
Now, did somebody help you with that pitch and help you with that layout? Where'd you get that advice on how to draw all that up?
I think
that was us talking.
Yeah, I think that was just like us saying like, because we didn't want to take on all this money right now if we got signs along the way saying that this wasn't gonna work.
And also, we didn't believe that we had a good chance of getting money.
We were first time entrepreneurs, like coming out of college with a crazy idea for a weird water bottle. Like we knew it was kind of a hard pitch, so we wanted to make it very easy for an investor to say yes.
Was this, you'll call this your seed money, I guess, or whatever? And was this a friend or a family, or was this a stranger?
So Zach and I had a nonprofit we were running in college. Okay. And it was someone who was supporting that nonprofit a lot. So we had like a relationship with as someone who would frequently donate to the nonprofit.
I'm having another visual when this person said, yes, I will write you a check for $50,000. You guys are like, yes.
We had a we drove
kept it
away.
cool. Yeah, we kept it cool in the moment, and then we like got in our separate cars, drove away, like pulled over on the side of a road, and we're like,
Yeah, we had a moment.
That's so good. That is so good. And then you went straight to the bar right after, obviously.
Oh yeah, we got.
We did something.
I think we just went home.
That's
that
so
was
good.
where we knew we were like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like,
Someone
let's do
believes in it.
Yeah.
That is so good. I love that. I love that story. Okay, so the 50 grand now. So you're like, okay, nobody's working at that point. Nobody was working.
No, that was right. That was like in April or May of when right before we were supposed to graduate. So
Okay,
that really happened like just in time for us to say, okay, we've got some money to go run.
So awesome.
And so he turned down his job. I ended up getting into medical school, but deferred for a year to do this. And then Zach was just like, Zach was kind of the reason. He was just like, guys, I'm gonna start my own company. Like whether you're there or not. like he was like, I want to make something from the ground up. And so he kind of planted this flag where it made it easier for us. We're like, well, we knew Zach's gonna go do something. Like, why don't we ride along?
Justin, were your parents like, you got it? Yeah.
When they were asking what I was working on pretty early on, I was just like, I'll tell you when you need to know. And like, cause I knew it was going to be a whole thing if I told them about it. And so I waited a few months until it was like really becoming real. And yeah, when you have a son who's going from being a nice doctor to a water bottle boy, like it's going to be.
Meanwhile, your mom has already told all your family members that you got into med school, for God's sake.
Yeah, I know. It's like so weird. It's so weird. And, but they're not like, they really were incredible and were happy to like help me work through it and figure out what I really wanted. They wanted to make sure it was what I wanted and that I wasn't like distracting from what I wasn't, but they are fully on board now, and they were incredible in the process.
And Barak, I'm just imagining your parents are pretty practical, no nonsense, do the right thing, follow the money trail, and they're also probably like, you're gonna do what? Well, what do you?
I will say, despite my dad's profession, they are pretty like they're pretty loose people. So
okay.
I did get some like, are you sure this is what you want to do?
Yeah.
And I was pretty much just like, I gotta go for it.
I love it. Okay, how long did it take for how many versions did you go through?
Like prototype?
Yeah. I guess how many prototypes did you go through before you got to the one that I see on the website today? How many did you go through?
So it was interesting. We kind of set off in multiple directions, and the one that we ended up choosing ended up taking about 7 different iterations before it got to the final version. But there were whole design philosophies for the bottle that we just had to scrap because it didn't really.
You have to work within the constraints of different suppliers, and so like different designs you had to do different designs for different suppliers, and so.
But also, like some designs just didn't work as well as we wanted them to.
Now you got the 50,000 in May of 2017. Is that right? Something like that, roughly.
Yeah. Well, it came in tranches over time, but
okay. Have you raised? Now you've raised another 100 because I'm looking at LinkedIn says 133,000. I don't know if
that was from Kickstarter. So that was like in pre-sales.
Okay.
And then we have done just a few angel investments along the way. And then we've also raised debt from other angels to finance our inventory. How
much total cash have you raised since the beginning?
In debt and equity?
Yep.
Around $250,000.
Okay, great. Now you're in revenue phase, right? People are now paying you, ordering the product.
Correct.
What was that? That's another moment when you got that first order in, right? Like, we got 10 orders today.
Yeah, it's still, Barak has like a little he has the sound on it where it does like a little cashier's like
on Shopify.
Yeah.
I love it. Wow. So you're paying yourselves now a little something, right?
Yeah. Right now we're at a cash tight time, just with a lot of money going out to finance inventory. So we may have to suck in for a month or two. But we had been this year.
We ran out of inventory in July, and so that's a good problem to have. But
yes.
outlaying lots of cash without being able to take that much in the past couple months.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of the difficult thing with the hardware business is so much money's going out up front and then it lasts you a long time. So we're kind of working on creating our structure.
Unless you make the manufacturer an equity partner and you say, hey, look, we'll give you a little piece of equity if we don't have to put out all this cash up front.
Yeah, I don't think we've really considered that.
I've
So
never
maybe
thought
we'll think about
it.
So, okay. Now, as the company sets today, Barak, why don't you give us, so the listeners at this point, they're like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Why don't you give us MODL Outdoors overview? Give us the quick 3-minute elevator pitch as the company stands today. Go for it.
So today, basically MODL Outdoors stands to create outdoor products that are flexible and packable. And the MODL water bottle, the MODL utility bottle is just the first rendition of that. We kind of have a design philosophy that focuses around flexibility. And we believe that there's a lot of products in the world right now that you adapt to it. Some of these stainless steel bottles, they're great for keeping your water hot or cold, but they're not about actually fitting to what you need it to do and just, being out of your mind. And we want to create products that can adapt to your exact situation and will adapt with you. And something that we also put a lot of thought into is the creativity aspect of it. We don't want to create static products. We don't want to create products that tell you this is how you need to use it. We want to create products with that are open so that you can interpret it. But at the same time, we don't want to make it more complicated. We want it to work as a regular water bottle when you don't want to think about it, but have this ability to transform into something else when you do want to think about it. And so right now we've got the bottle that we're building out, and we've got a lot of cool directions that we can take it. But we also see this design philosophy being applied to plenty of other products.
I see. Okay. But so you're setting up a brand. What I hear you saying is, hey man, we're not just a water bottle one-off thing. We got a brand strategy going on here. We have a theme happening, and we are going to be launching some additional SKUs. When is the next SKU hitting the webpage?
So, very, very, very soon. We've got upgrades to the current products coming out pretty much on a rolling basis. We've been hearing from our customers and hearing, all right, this is what's working, this isn't working. Right now, our focus is on making the product as good as it can be. The product we already have as good as it can be. And then we're going to start expanding the functionality of the product. And this can be your bottle turning into a lantern, having dry storage within it, being able to connect two together. These are just some of the ideas. But there are a lot of different things that people want to use their bottle for, and thus a lot of opportunity for what is essentially the basis of a system right here.
Okay. Can I add one to the list? Can I add one?
Please.
I'm sure you've got this already. I'm sure this is nothing special, but so I go camping. So I go solo camping all the time. I must have went 15 times this year. I go constantly. And so when I saw the fact that you could use it for a quick rinse off, like a quick shower, when you're out, I'll do a 2 or 3 night solo camp. And, when you're driving home on the 4th day, you're reeking, right? You really smell bad. And my wife, as soon as I walk in the door, my wife's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
What'd you do?
So I loved it when you were showing like it could be used as a quick shower thing. I thought that's cool. I like that. I was wondering if there was a way to maybe you set it a certain way in the sun and then you can heat it up so the water you're squirting on yourself from the river's not ice cold.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
We actually just had someone who sent us this video of he had a black model and then had a solar oven that was like arranged towards the model sitting at the center of it, and he took a hot shower with it.
That was my immediate thought. My immediate thought was that's cool, but how can you warm that up? But anyway, I know you guys probably getting it. That's one challenge being an entrepreneur and a startup. Everybody's going to throw you. You're going to get a million ideas coming your way, and you got to
love that. No, I like that is literally how that's part of our philosophy too. Is really tapping into the wisdom of people here, and really having that feed our innovation. That's part of our flywheel of how we're going to grow and scale. Is really having that community driven design.
Okay, very good.
We obviously have to be selective about them, but our product is made for diverse and kind of out of the box things. And the only way we're going to really discover what our products is being used for is through our customers.
So more products hitting the website soon is what I hear you saying.
Yeah. So it's going to be upgrades to this to make this even better. And then new mods coming down next year as well. And then probably start expanding the product line.
Okay. Now those life straws, I've used the life straw before, and you have to suck on that thing like super crazy hard to get the water through the straw. Is it the same way on yours?
Not as hard.
Not as bad.
Not as hard. It's pretty it's pretty easy to suck through the straw, but what's actually really nice about the design, we like kind of design that helps other pieces of our design, is because it's flexible. Simply by holding the bottle, you're putting pressure to help your drinking through the straw.
Oh, I see.
And so there's a lot of things that there was a lot of things that went into this, that actually, how can the design of the product make other parts of the product better? In a lot of situations, if you try to design a multi-tool, you end up with something that is a jack of all trades and master of none. And in this case, I'm not saying this is the best thing of everything it does of all time, but there are some design features that enhance, or the fact that it is a flexible bottle enhances the fact that it can be a filter.
And I'll just add one more thing. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that just one other cool thing about just the design that really Barak kind of laid out is it's double-ended too. So you can also use this as a gravity filter, and you can just do tons and tons of water, and you can use that same squeeze to help it go faster.
Show us the cartridge or whatever that goes inside yeah. So I don't know. What do you call that? What's it called? Not cartridge.
Mod is what we call it.
Okay. By the way, I have a design thing for you that make it look really cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. And that's if you put Riderflex right on the bottle, just Riderflex.
No, it looks like this. It's kind of very similar to similar to Sawyer Mini feel.
Okay. And it just goes in, you connect it. You want to show us how you connect the thing real quick?
I would have to go get some
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You guys got great video. By the way, for the listeners, I'm asking him to do us a demo there, but on their website for the listeners, just so you guys know, MODL Outdoors.com. MODL Outdoors.com.
And there's a bottle put together. It's a contraction.
Gotcha. And there's some cool videos that show you exactly how it works on there. I love that review that the one guy did on the YouTube channel right there on your website. Really good.
Yeah, Talon is awesome.
Very good, very good. So let me ask you a few things about the setup of the organization, because I know when you got 3 co-founders that are all, you're probably all type A to a certain degree, or else you wouldn't be driven to want to do the business. And so what happens when you guys have an idea and you have a little disagreement and all 3 of you are like, fuck off today or whatever, I'm sure it happens. Tell me how you work through some of that.
So we actually highly value disagreement. And to the point where when we all agree immediately, it usually kind of spooks us.
Okay.
And so that's a big idea from like Ray Dalio, is like thoughtful disagreement. So we make sure our egos stay out of it when we have that, and we really appreciate good discussion where we're coming at it from very different angles.
Thoughtful disagreement.
And because we recognize no angle on its own probably is the full story. It usually takes that thoughtful disagreement to parse through things. How
did you decide on the titles? One person's chief people, then one's CEO, one's COO. How would you draw straws, or how'd you guys do that?
So wait, have we actually? I don't think we've said what we.
No, I don't think so. No. He's CEO.
And head of design.
I'm CMO. I say I'm the people person, really, though. And then Zach is the COO and also the logistics lad, as we like.
How did you decide that? Just based on your personality strengths, your style strengths, or the things you love to do most?
Pretty much. It we do have pretty distinct personalities, and for instance, kind of. One thing we like to say is I'll have this kind of out there idea. Zach will be like, okay, well, you have that idea out there, but what about steps 1, 2, and 3? And Justin's like, wait, are we even heading in the right direction? Or what about these, that cliff that's right there? What if we fall off of that? And so that sort of dynamic is sort of encapsulated in our roles. But really, as a team of three and running a small company, we're generalists, and we're all, working on problems together, and rarely have I don't know if we've ever had a fight per se.
I would say so.
You haven't gone you haven't gone like days like there doesn't like that an old story doesn't come up where like one of you are still mad at the other one.
No, I
actually.
think it's just a mutual respect for each other. Kind of cuts any of that out. Where we're not holding anything. Like we really deeply respect each other. And then I think the way we our dynamic typically works is when an issue or a decision comes about, you usually have one of us hop on this side, one of us hop on that side, and then usually there's kind of someone in the middle who's hearing both of this, asking questions, and then we kind of regroup after where that leads. And that's kind of just, it's not like one of us is always on either side or in the middle. It just happens very naturally.
Yeah.
A team of three is powerful.
Agreed.
We really like the number.
Agreed. You just took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, if you're setting up co-founder group, an odd number versus an even number is good, just in case you ever did want to vote on something or whatever.
You need a tiebreaker. Yeah, you really do.
Speaking of that, are you guys, you've taken on some cash here. Are you still in control? Do you guys still own the majority of the cap table?
Yes. Yeah. It's about 75% between the three of us.
Okay. Very good. All right. Now, sooner or later, you're going to get an offer for an investment that's going to blow that up. I guess that's coming eventually.
Probably need to mentally prepare for that, but we'll see. We're really trying to keep it tight and grow and scale profitably. We really respect the scrappy business philosophy, and that's really what we want to. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say a lot of our mentors are one of our main mentors has really stressed to us that the dog should be wagging the tail shouldn't be wagging the dog. So for instance, when this crazy amazing offer comes along for a couple $1 million for 50% of the business or whatever it is, is that something that you're just jumping on because it's shiny right now? Right. Or is it something that you guys thought about, and does it match your criteria for something that you consider to be a good investment? And so that's how we would think about that.
I would encourage you the same. You're still young. You're super young, so you got plenty of time. It's not like you're 55 and you're like, damn, I got to get this thing going right now, and then I got to flip it and sell it and get my successful exit in the next 5 years before I'm 60 years old. So you don't have to take on the cash to scale it super fast. You don't have to. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I would encourage you to do the same. Just grow it as a so-called lifestyle business for a while instead of something you're trying to flip real soon. And take your time and stay in control. Because once you take the check that takes you out of control, it is a different ball game. I don't care what anybody else tells you. As soon as you're not in control of the cap table, it will feel different. And so, it depends on
their return needs. And it's the tail starts to wag the dog in a very powerful way.
It does. Or another way to say that is the reality is once you lose control of the majority ownership, you are technically an employee, not a founder anymore. And so because they can tell you what to do, or they can get rid of you. You know what I mean? And so I definitely encourage you to keep building it, like you are, and stay in control of the cap table as long as possible. Now, some of those early investors are they're gonna be pushing you to take on additional cash so they can get their money back, because if they have to wait longer than 5 years, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is cool, but when do I get my money back? So, all that's gonna come into play, of course. I mean, you guys sound like you've had a great time building this product and building the brand. You've taken on just a little bit of cash. You haven't really necessarily, correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't really necessarily had to worry about a giant cap table or a bunch of investors breathing down your neck or any kind of family office or, giving you shit. Right now, you're just having fun building it.
For the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Sometimes we get an email and it's like, oh my God. Yeah.
we do have 3 to 4 investors that we want to make sure is we're all aligned on. It's all about alignment. And So I wouldn't say it's like crazy, but I would, yeah, we're somewhere in the middle.
It gets tougher. And the bigger the cap table gets with more, that's another thing I would encourage you to do. I just had a friend, by the way, that just sold a business. He had 90 people on the cap table, 90. And I can just tell you, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. That's a complete nightmare.
Okay.
I mean, he spent the last 3 years just managing them. Like he didn't even have time to manage the business. He's trying to manage 90 people knocking on his doors every day saying, when am I getting my money back? So, I would just,
and I do think there's power. Like we're really trying to bring any investor we bring on, we really want to tap into their wisdom as well. And so like, it is powerful when you get the right people on the team and they can help you parse through the stuff and strategize from a fundamentally aligned place where you're in this together. But that being said, it can also go poorly too.
Oh, it could, man. I mean, yeah. The general rule to follow is this. If you're not super comfortable having them over to your home or sitting down and having beers with them, then I wouldn't let them invest.
Good idea. That's good advice. Yeah,
because at the end of the day, these are people you're going to be spending time with, and they're going to be in your shit, and you're going to have to deal with them on a regular basis. And so, so you're off to the races. You got a cool website. You got a very cool product. I mean, I want one. I mean, I just immediately was like, okay, yes, I have to have one of these. I mean, I'm always buying little camping gadgets, anything to make my camping experience smoother. I am all for buying. I mean, my wife just drills the shit out of me all the time. Something else will drop on the porch, from UPS. She's like, you don't have to have all this. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
That's hilarious.
We'll send you one.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'll definitely promote it for sure. Because, it is about the comfort and making the experience better. And I love your whole pitch on how it's not. How'd you say it, Barak? You said don't let the product tell you how to use it. You use it how you want to. You pitch it better than that. How'd you say that?
I said a lot of products make you adapt to the product, and we want to create products that adapt to you.
Ooh, I like it, man. I like that. Let me ask you, as we're headed into wrap up here. Let me ask you, Justin. Let's go with you on this. If you had to give advice to anybody out there thinking about starting a business as it relates to selecting co-founders, what would you tell them based on what you've learned so far?
That's a good question. I want to caveat one thing before I answer, in that I had 4 years of friendship with them prior to starting a business. So I know it's a different game when you're looking for someone to like start a business with, like in the short term. So, but knowing that, I think you want to have every conversation you have with that person should get a stepwise more interesting. Like as you're at, and like you should start, every conversation should just keep on fueling your curiosity and your respect for them. Before you get into any of the specifics of the business or anything. Like you need to have a relationship with them, because it feels not like a marriage, but kind of like a marriage. Like we've signed a lot of paperwork together. We're tied to each other. We're tied to each other, and you need to make sure that there's other layers holding you together besides the legal stuff in the business and everything. Yeah.
I like it. Is your operating agreement pretty clean right now? You feel good about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
It says if shit hits fan, we do this.
Yeah. We do have like contingency plans. I've heard that an agreement is more of like a what to do in a disagreement. That's really how you should think about agreements. And so we kind of came at it through that lens, and kind of came up with terms that we thought
that's so true. Whoever gave you that advice, I agree, spot on. I mean,
I think it was Tim Ferriss. So
okay, you're only looking at the operating agreement when bad stuff's going down most of the time. Yeah. How about this, Barak? So you're still early and you're learning new stuff all the time, but you've been in it now. You've been in it now for 3 years. So what would you do differently knowing what you know now? If you were restarting and it was May of 2017, is there a couple of things you'd do differently?
It's a great question.
That is, well, it'd be nice if we had the product design already.
So get design a little more forward before starting the company, or no?
No, that was more of a joke.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. I think just a more healthy respect of the process. I think when we first started, we were like, oh, like we're gonna make a water bottle, like it's gonna be easy, like plenty of people make water bottles. We're just going to put 2 ends on it. It's going to be flexible in the middle. And, it's easy to get, what we found is it's really easy to get to 90% of the way done on something.
Oh.
Closing that last 10%, and it gets harder and harder with every percent. It's going to take more and more time. You could get to that 90%. You can have the idea for something and, a double-ended bottle with a silicone body. Easy. Getting all the details right so that it's actually ready for reality, and not just the product, but anything you're writing, anything you're creating. Respect the fact that you're going to spend a lot of time getting the shit straight before you actually feel like it's ready to go out there. And I think we thought, oh, we're going to design the product in 4 or 5 months. We're going to launch it on Kickstarter in 6 months. We're going to do a great Kickstarter, and then 6 months later, we're going to be selling. Yeah, well, that was a year, and that process easily took us 2 years. And so also the power of 2, I think people like to say things are going to take half as long as they're actually going to take. And people will often exaggerate, how great something is by 2. So I just think overall, knowing what the process was going to be like, or not underestimating it as much.
Not underestimating. It is always harder than you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
For anybody that's starting a business. Have you had some of those moments where you're like, fuck it, I just want to go get a regular job some days. Some days.
I don't know about regular job, but there were times that, right before we delivered the product, we got super tight on cash. That was probably the darkest time.
Yeah.
And we were like, if we don't get money in the bank with product that hasn't even delivered yet, we're not going to be able to deliver the product because we can't pay for customs. And it was just like,
yeah. And
it gets dark.
You guys had stuff sitting in Long Beach or whatever, just sitting there in a container, and you couldn't get it out?
No, well, we thought that might be the situation, but we figured everything out in the nick of time.
We tried. We kind of, it was quick,
but there were just moments where you're just like, how is this gonna work?
and I'd say another thing is, like, for so long, your business is nothing but an idea in your head.
Right.
And I think that's a really, mental health wise, and just kind of like determination wise, can be a tough place to be, because I don't know, like, you have to convince yourself every day that it's real and that it's going to be real. And respect for that, and really knowing that that's part of the adventure. And I don't know, it's weird though. Did that make sense? Like,
yeah. But now that you got some solid revenue flowing your way. I remember, I felt the same. It almost doesn't. You're right, Justin. It almost doesn't feel real. It feels like some sort of dream or something. Like you want to shake yourself and go, man, is this for real? Like, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
Now, the further you go along, like Riderflex, for example, this is our 4th year. We'll probably do about $1 million this year,
Nice.
as a recruiting firm. But there are days where I'm like, damn, I can't. How do we get here? How do we get it to that?
It's like, but like that's where you have more evidence in the physical world. Like, oh, it is real,
It is real.
And I think, but in the early years, it's like you're working with very little physical evidence. It's only up here, and it's only like in our conversations, and it's and so it's weird.
And neither one of you guys are married, are you? Kids, married, anything like that?
No.
Girlfriends?
I
Seriously?
got a girlfriend. This man's
I'm
single.
single.
Oh, look at that. All right. Single.
Bro.
Now's the time. Now's the time, ladies. You want to make your move because,
Your
you know,
podcast is kind of like the new age Tinder, right? Like this is where people
Riderflex.
I don't know what that is. What is Tinder? No, I'm just joking. You guys got it. You guys got it a lot different than we had it when I was your age. There was no app. There was no app when
No
I
way.
was.
Are you kidding me?
No, there was no age. There was no app. The only app was the bar, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so neither one of you have wives that are depending on you right now, which means you can take even more risks, or no kids depending on you, or no spouse depending on you. So you can take risks, I guess, right now, which is great. I mean, you can take all kinds of risks. Do you live together?
Zach and Barak live together. Yeah, we lived together for the first year out of college.
Very fluid.
Very fluid. Like we lived in monthly Airbnbs all throughout. Like lived in Thailand for a little bit. Like we were getting weird.
Place.
Is that where the product's made? Thailand?
No, it's actually made in China. We went to China too.
Okay.
But yeah, we went to go see our manufacturer and stayed there for a while too. But yeah, so Zach and Brock live together. I live with my girlfriend and my puppy.
Well, yeah, you got to have your own place, Justin, because the girlfriend's there, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Is she from Denver?
She's from Houston, Texas, and we went to school together as well.
Oh, you did, but you guys all moved out here from Georgia then, basically.
Yeah. It's a mecca out here. I don't know how in touch with it you are, but it's ridiculous how many people around our age are moving to Denver.
Yeah.
I know. By the way, for all the listeners, please stop. Please do not move here. Please do not move here. Please do not move here.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just joking. Yeah, I don't mind that. But Colorado is a lot more crowded than it used to be. I know that. Well, I'm super excited for you guys. I love your energy. Love your attitude. I'm sure that plays really well with the investors. You know, I believe investors, they do want to see, and all the ones that I know, and several of them are advisors on the Riderflex, webpage. They want to see a good product, and they want to see something that can scale and all that, but really at the end of the day, if they believe in you, they're going to invest. They want to believe in the co-founders. And I've been watching you. I don't see any kind of friction or whatever word you want to use. Like, it feels very natural with both of you, and it feels good. It feels real. It feels authentic, and that plays really well with investors, because I'm looking at the product. Like this morning, I'm studying the product. I'm like, damn, okay, I want one of those. And then I started thinking about additional SKUs. And then I thought, well, let's see what these guys are like together and see if there's any weird stuff between them. But I don't sense anything, and I'm pretty good at that stuff. So
nice. Well, we don't feel it. So
yeah.
I think
awesome, man.
Dude, stop.
No, okay, sorry.
I feel good connection between you two. Really, happy for you. So for the listeners, one more time. Now, by the way, you can order it directly from your website or Amazon, or tell us all the ways you can buy it.
Through our website. If you're in Denver, you can actually meet us and we'll give you a discount.
Yeah,
because we save a ton of money, and we want to get that community going.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
So you can just reach out on our website, and we could drop it off sometime. And then like any Denver orders, we go drop off personally.
Wouldn't that be cool? Now you'll be able to shoot, like 3 years from now when you guys are huge, like somebody's in the mountains with their buddies. They're like, hey, I got this personally delivered to the co-founders.
The story they're telling.
You should make those special, like the ones you drop off personal. Maybe it's got like a unique UPC code or like some sort of like code on it. Like no. This one was hand delivered, and the reason I know it was hand delivered is because it's got this little tiny marking, whatever, this watermark on it, to where it's a special hand delivered one.
Yeah, I like that. We'll do some research.
You guys are doing great. I appreciate you being on the Riderflex podcast and sharing your story.
Thanks for having us. This has been sweet.
If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so you can be notified when we release a new episode. Our show features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get information on the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.